Wake up.
Hey, hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome to this
Hello.
wonderful Monday. We normally don't record on Monday, but pressing issues required that we convene together. We had to call the congregation to the pulpit and have some
Yeah,
conversation.
definitely is the perfect opportunity to get together and have a discussion.
So, should I just preface it with the clip?
Sure.
Okay, see what we're talking about here.
Now, can you do that without them taking it down? Because it's
We'll see. We shall see. All right, let me play. I guess everybody will recognize this.
can you hear it?
I can hear it. Can you? Okay. Well, that's why we're
Yeah.
here.
For anybody who has been under a rock for the past 24
Sorry.
hours.
Yeah. Well, hopefully I'm not sharing anymore. You don't see
No.
the other screen, right? Okay. So, massively awkward, but can we just give the award to Chris Rock for carrying on
Yeah.
effortlessly?
The consummate professional.
My
So, what are your
gosh.
thoughts? I
All
mean,
right. So,
so
where do we
basically,
start?
what the discussion has been is multiple things. Like, is it was it was it okay for him to do that? Is he standing up for his wife or his male ego? Was it real? Was it fake? Is that acceptable? I mean, there's a lot of questions to be asked here, and I have a lot of opinions regarding that. Uh, but I'll let you, ladies first.
All right. Well, I think let's dispel any notion that this was staged. I think we can all agree on that at this point, right?
Okay, well, I wanted to preface that with a couple things. Like, if
Okay.
that's where we're going with it, then let's talk about it. All right. If it were, let's just play devil's advocate here. If it were real, he has just reinforced every negative stereotype about minorities that we've worked to dispel for decades.
Yep.
He has just
Yep.
reinforced them, uh, shown people that we've tried to convince, hey, we can have civil discourse. You just threw all of that out the window if it's real.
Yeah. And let me just redefine when I say staged that everybody or both parties involved were
Yeah.
included, right? So I think that we can agree that Chris Rock had no idea that that was going to happen. The Academy had no
Wait a
idea
minute.
that that was
I
going to
don't agree with that.
happen. Okay.
I don't agree with that. I think it was staged. It was staged.
Okay.
But as I said, in playing devil's advocate,
Stage between
and
Chris
Will Smith,
Rock and Will
Will
Smith.
Smith. So, like I said, I'll play devil's advocate, play the game. If it wasn't true, you have just helped to reinforce every negative stereotype about working with minorities that has ever been. You have just done a tremendous disservice. You have split the public because half the people are with you, half the people aren't. If this were real, The logical way to have handled it would have been if you wanted to step up and go take the microphone and say, listen, I would appreciate it if you don't disrespect my wife in front of me. As a man, respect me, respect her. She has an illness, whatever the case may be, blah, blah, blah. That would have been better than what he did.
No, I mean maybe better, but I think that we spent the last like 10 years criticizing Kanye for doing that at award shows, right? And I
I
just
don't think
think
he's
that
ever defended
he
anyone, other than
okay.
Beyonce.
Well, he thinks he's
Yeah,
defending
yeah.
Beyonce, right? But whatever the case is, like it's just been frowned upon
I'm
about
not saying
as
what he
like
did was
this
right.
privileged bad behavior, right? Um, I I don't even want to. I don't even want to like legitimize any of that, but I would just say like probably the best opportunity would have been if he won the award or a side at the end, at the back of the show or whatever the case is. Um, if this was not staged, if this was staged,
Wait.
then
Let's talk
what a
about one
huge.
thing at a time. If this
What we're talking
if
about
this
if it
were
was
real,
staged. No, no, no. You
yes, but I'm
believe
not
it's
talking
staged.
about if it was
I want
staged.
to address that. Okay, but just really quick.
But we're gonna make
If it
things
was
up now. Like
staged,
we're gonna mix things up. Let's talk about if it's real.
no, no, no. I just want to talk about the implication of staging something like that and the thought that these two professional people in the industry, people of color, would make a conscientious choice to stage such antics on an award show that was finally produced by a black man, by Will
Hmm.
Packard. Like that they would both have to have agreed like we're gonna shit, pardon my language, on his moment right now. And that's hard for me to
It
believe
would
that
be
they would
if you
do.
don't consider the fact that I don't believe in coincidences. All right, the fact that what was he being awarded? What was he being nominated for? A role where a man stands up for his family. That's what he was being nominated for.
Right.
What was the biggest gripe going in? They're losing their audience. Nobody's watching. There's no concerns. There's a million ways that could have been handled. You handled it in the only way that's going to cause attention. Because even if had you said, hey, interrupted him and say, hey, do me a favor, don't talk about my wife. Do me a favor, please. Don't ever disrespect my wife like that again. It wouldn't have been news. You had to have done that to make it news. You had to have done that. Now, let's go forward. You think there's no security there? You think no one is coming in to stop anything? You think that after the Kanye stuff and all of that has happened, you think everybody's going to let people assault each other on stage? That's not real. You think with it being videoed, there's video evidence, there's not going to be police there? Like, hey, wait a minute, we just watched you publicly assault somebody. And furthermore, you reached into Chris Rock's domain. We can talk about body language as well. We can talk about everything. I think it's fake 100%. It's fake. We can talk about every aspect of it. But let me continue down this road. You enter Chris Rock's world. He has a microphone and an audience. You think he's not going to come at you? Well, we know what award Will Smith is going to win, the bitch ass award. He's going to come at him. 100%. He didn't say anything. He didn't do anything. Nothing at all. Not to mention the fact that everything about that, you hit somebody and turn your back and walk away. No man does that. You hit somebody,
I just think that it was
you hit somebody,
completely
you watch them.
unexpected and a
As
really
Will
bad
Smith, as Will Smith, if you hit somebody, you're gonna expect a reaction. You don't walk away like, yeah, no, nothing's gonna happen unless you know.
I mean, didn't he say in his book he's tired of being the punk or the weak man or whatever?
That
Like
doesn't
that's
make
not
you
his
being a
life. That's
bully
not where
doesn't
he's
make you the strong man.
yeah, but I think he specifically spoke about how he didn't stand up to things in his life. So it's just not his nature. He's not,
Listen,
I don't
he
think he's
came
at a
away from
street or
that
whatever, but
not looking good. He looks bad, and
so why would you stage that?
I think again, if the Oscars come to you and Chris Rock and say, "Hey, we need something, man. Here's an extra 10 mil each. We need something. Do something."
Oh, yeah. I mean, and if that's the case, then we really need to cancel.
Hey,
We really need to not show
the
up at
only
the
reason I even
Oscars
heard
if
about
they're
it
willing to use us as
The only
their
reason I heard
scapegoats.
about it was
Yeah.
that's nothing and I'm ever into. But the only reason I even paid attention was because everybody sending me messages about it. But listen, that stuff is over. Nobody cares about their fake awards. You know what I mean? But 100%. Again, now we can go into body language. We can go into everything. Like that wasn't a real smack. That wasn't a real
Okay.
reaction.
Well,
None of that was real. Like
yeah.
that wasn't real.
I mean,
The shifting of the
I
body weight away from the
wholeheartedly
power instead of
don't
into the
think that.
power. When you get smacked, your face turns. You don't. Oh, you don't.
And even
Who
okay,
smacked him?
so let's
Thanos.
go. Okay,
Nobody acts like that.
okay. So let's move. We just discussed what was the purpose. Why was what was Chris Rock presenting? They were finally giving recognition to Questlove in an industry that he's gone, I think, highly unrecognized in his own hip hop industry for a very long time. And now he's winning documentary of the year,
Real talk.
huge thing. And I just, again, don't know who would
Real
ish
talk.
on that.
If
Like,
you gonna
why would our people
interfere
do that
with
to each
anything,
other?
the only place it's gonna be tolerated is in a minority segment. You better not interfere with some other segment.
But that's not a
A
minority
minority
segment. That's the
segment.
whole thing.
Questlove was
He
getting it.
crossed over
He's still a
into,
minority.
right, with a minority
He's still a
recipient.
minority.
But that's the whole point is like, it's a huge segment to cross over into. So I just don't understand why you would overshadow that moment for your
It's
boy.
not for your boy.
It's
It's not
just
for none of that. It's because you
bananas.
got to check.
Yeah. I mean, they're
You
both
got to
from
check.
Philly,
You got to
you know.
check. You got a check. Somebody paid you to do a staged performance so that they could generate some type of publicity. There's too much in there. Like, come on. When does Chris
Well, the one
Rock stay
thing,
shut
the,
about anything? And you ain't say nothing?
I mean, again, all Chris Rock's performances are calculated, and
So he
scripted.
got the
Like this
whole
was
night to
very
think about what just happened.
unexpected.
He didn't come back say nothing?
Well, he didn't come back on stage. That was what he was there for. So he had
If that
nobody had anything to say
even
to the
more
press,
exactly because it's
you
fake.
know.
Even that's even more
So,
so. He didn't come back, which means he was there for that. That's what he was there for. You here for this thing to happen, and then you keep it moving. That's what it was.
well, okay. So we clearly don't agree on that point. But let me ask you this. Let's say it was
That's
real
what I
and
was
he
saying.
smacked your favorite comedian, Seinfeld, your
Let's get it
boy.
straight to everybody
Um,
watching that might think that's serious. Seinfeld is trash. He's not funny. He's not a good comedian
okay,
at all.
right,
That's my opinion.
right. So let's say, but my point is, had he gone up on stage and smacked
We know it's
Seinfeld
fake.
or Robert
Nobody
De
would be
Niro,
questioning how fake it is because he wouldn't.
if he smacked any of those people, I don't think LAPD would reach out to see if they wanted to press charges. I think the assumption was that it was an assault, a criminal attack, and he would have been at least questioned,
I mean, I
brought
don't
into the
understand what the point
station
is.
because the announcement today was because everybody was disappointed and upset. The people who were
Because it's
disappointed and upset
fake.
that it was an assault. Well, okay, so and I just looked at it as a disparity of the quote
It's
unquote
fake.
victim.
The reason why none of that happened, you're in a room full of actors and you got actors putting on a performance because somebody needs viewership. I am working in Hollywood.
That's just not the way to go. And that's not
What do you
even their image.
mean?
It doesn't even make
First of
sense.
all,
I know, but
it's
that's not
exactly their image because look who they have doing it.
okay.
The people they want to do it. They don't got Bradley Cooper smacking Clint
No,
Eastwood.
I'm not saying, I'm saying it's not the Smiths' image to intentionally try to generate such negative publicity
Hey,
stunts.
listen,
You know,
listen. I'm really trying to
I've been
behave here.
disappointed with
I'm
them
really
for
trying to
a
behave here.
while.
Are you kidding me? This woman go out smash all his guests at the house. You ain't do nothing about that. She there smashing your guests, your son's friends. But you want to smack this guy for a joke? First of all, the joke had no place. It had no place. Like if you watch the setup, he was talking to Javier Bardem and Penelope Cruz about winning out, and then he just threw in a GI Jane joke. What? As that doesn't even have
They were sitting
placement.
right next
That
to each
doesn't even
other.
have placement.
Well, he segued by talking
Okay.
about Will Smith and
Yeah, no,
Javier
no,
Bardem
because you're
joke.
not even talking about that. Now you come with some. That's not even play. That's fake. You just needed to throw something out there just to try to get this. And then next, Will Smith just happens to be sitting right there. It's thousands of seats in that arena, but he's sitting right there right in front of him. Just happens to be just coincidence again. No, it's fake as the day is long. Not to mention, I'm not going to get into the specifics of the body language. That's not real. You don't assault another man. They react that way, you react that way. That's not how it happens. That's not how it happens. You know what I mean? And then you're going to go back to your seat, sit down, and then talk from your seat. Come on, that's scripted, man. That's all fake. That's Hollywood, man.
Why would he want that image though? Sitting
Because
there,
because there's a check associated.
A grown ass man. Okay.
Why would he want the image
It don't make sense
of
to me.
his wife smashing his son's friends? Mm-hmm. Why would he want that image?
I mean, he doesn't want. You think that
No.
that's fake too?
What I'm saying is, you're complaining
okay.
about an image. You think that is worse? You think him smacking somebody for a check is worse than that? Listen, there's nothing about his image that's not
He's America's sweetheart.
that doesn't
so I
come
just
with a
don't think
price
this would be
tag.
worth it.
There's nothing about his image that doesn't come with a price tag. You pay him, he'll do what he needs to do. He'll act the part. He's an actor. That's what they do. They act. And that was scripted and fake. And that's why there was no security. He wasn't escorted out. There's no police presence. There's nothing. Why? Because it's fake.
So, I mean, is it worth the PR or the
Yes.
negative PR or the loss of? Oh, because
Are you
if
kidding
I'm
me?
if
How many people are looking up
if I'm the
Oscars
producer
tonight?
for the movie, what if they revoke his
They're not going to.
award?
They didn't.
That's
They didn't.
not
No, they're
yet.
not going to.
They announced
Mark
today
my
that they're
words.
going to review it.
Nothing, because it's scripted. They're getting exactly what they wanted. Nothing is going to happen. I didn't want to talk about this part first. I wanted to talk about pretending that it might have been real first.
Okay, so it's real. So
I
what
mean,
are the
I just already
now?
undid all of them, but it's not real. It's
Uh-huh.
fake, and
It's not fake. It's not fake.
well, I mean, we'll see. Because if it were real, I expect a huge lawsuit by Chris Rock against the Hollywood studios that put that show on. A huge lawsuit. I expect a gigantic
If it's
lawsuit if it's
real?
real. If Chris Rock
Against the
was
venue
assaulted
and not against
doing
Will
their
Smith?
cast and they didn't have security and they didn't protect him doing their show, there should have been something filed today seeking hundreds of millions of dollars in damages. But there wasn't. And there won't be because it's not real.
I mean, that's not going to come
It
right
does.
away.
Why not? There's an assault right away. We're pressing charges. We're looking for him to be arrested. Here's the video evidence. Get him in jail right now.
I think it's bad PR on Chris Rock to press charges as well.
Okay. I mean, if you're going to just shoot down every logical thing, how is it bad?
No, I think I see it as illogical what you're saying.
think
So
he
that's why
wouldn't
I'm
sue?
counterbalancing with what I think he'd sue. I think he'd sue Will
Okay.
Smith. I don't
Where's
see
that
why he
lawsuit?
would sue. Yeah, if he sues. But my thing is this: I think that he calculated that it's not worth the negative imagery and press for him
You
to
realize
react
he's the
badly on
victim,
this.
right?
That's the way I feel. Yes, I do realize
how
he's
is
the
that
victim,
negative?
and I do realize that it took a long time to even the playing ground, right? So that everybody, so it felt inclusive, and then to continue to compound this negative imagery of people of color in general. I don't think he would
So
want
it's
to feed
negative
into that,
to press
honestly.
charges?
No, I don't think he wants to highlight the bad behavior any further.
What you're saying makes no. So you're the victim that somebody assaulted, but you're not going to press charges because, oh, it might look bad. Are you kidding me? These people operate for money. They don't care about, whatever it is that you're implying. If you were attacked and assaulted on live TV and damage your brand and damage your reputation on a show where you expected, you had a reasonable expectation of security, you're gonna sue. You are the victim. You didn't do anything wrong, and you wouldn't be doing anything wrong by looking for damages. That's insane to even insinuate that he'd be wrong for trying to get some type of damages. No, that's the logical next step.
Yeah.
There's proof everywhere if it were real.
I just played into the victimization
I
again,
know. I
but
was gonna say that. I was gonna say that.
um,
Let it ride. I wanted to talk about
well,
that first, pretending that it was real. But again, there's
I
too
believe
much
it's
that
real.
says that it isn't. Where are the charges? Where are the arrests? Where is the security? Where is the public apology by the Oscars to Chris Rock? Where is any of that? Because if somebody had really been assaulted on their show, there'd be a lot more damage control. But nothing is happening. Guess why? Because nothing
Well, I
happened.
mean, either way, I'm hugely
It was
disappointed.
stupid. It was a
If
miscalculation.
he's it's contrived, yeah, if it's contrived or if it's real, because again, look what we're discussing. You take your brother, that came up with you from your hood, and you ish all over his moment. You ish all over this moment for the entire community, for the entire hip hop community. You took I felt like his acceptance speech, which I was gonna play, but I'm not even gonna bother. Um, is just completely disrespectful, and then that feels like he contrived the moment, independent of corroborating with Chris Rock, where he's talking about the role that he plays and how this man fights for his family, and he's misunderstood as passionate as he is for his family. So that was upsetting because it made me feel, it felt like he was trying to saying, but this is the guy I played in the movie that I won the role for. And he apologizes to the Academy and the audience, and still not Chris Rock, his contemporary, his peer. So I thought that was highly offensive. I just don't see any win for them. And then, of course, my first cynical reaction was, oh, this is just more fodder for Red Table Talk, And then today they announced, well, he's not going to speak to press. They're just going to take it directly to their show. And so I would not be surprised if he contrived it for his own misguided attempt for PR. But I think it just counteracts what we know about him, where, he's America's sweetheart because he's the nice guy,
The
and
man
he just
wife
just
sleeps with
disrespected
his
the
son's
entire
friends.
community.
And hey, listen, you can sleep with
I
whoever
know,
you
but and
want.
it's
You
not
can
like the
sleep with
man
whoever
doesn't
you
do things
want.
that's
I don't
wrong
care.
too.
What I'm
I
saying
know.
is
Let's
let's
not
stop
focus it on one
dispelling
part.
this notion you have that he's America's sweetheart. He's not. He's not.
Well,
There's a lot of people who
him
have a
being a
lot of
cuck doesn't take
criticisms.
that
I don't
away.
care. Look, my appreciation for him is as an actor. I don't care about him as a human being. I don't know him as a human being. He's no role model for me. I don't know anything about him other than what he's doing and what they're putting out there. And like I said, unfortunately, lately it's negative, and it's been negative, and I don't really care. Which is why I've already been seeing this. Like, you're not the guy of moral caliber that needs to be looked up to. So seeing you either doing this for real is within reason. You're kind of a scumbag, and if it's fake, I don't put it out of the realm of it being fake because you're kind of a scumbag. So you don't care about nobody else's moment. You care about your moment. That's what it's about. It's all about you all the time. So, like I said, yeah,
I mean, prior to this, I felt like, he was the story of perseverance, of living life to its fullest, of inspiration, and all of that stuff. They do have their personal relationship issues that they choose to air out on, her show. And I think that the irresponsible part of that is there was a third party that I think was extremely negatively impacted that neither of them seemed to take into
oh,
consideration.
but
Like,
he's
they're, again,
America's
people look at them as
sweetheart.
these
But they're
mentors.
America's
Well,
sweetheart.
people look at them as these mentors, and they're sitting there,
Listen,
playing kamikaze with
the
somebody's
end of the
life.
day, whether it's real or fake, the reality is they're not who you thought they were. They're not.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we would like to think of that.
Never
And
meet
either
your
way, like,
heroes,
listen, and
right?
do you like hey man, I don't care. Like, hey, more power to you. Play your lane, do what you want to do. I don't like beautiful. Live the life the way you want to do it. But I'm not gonna pretend that the way you do, you're beyond reproach because you're this heavenly figure that does everything so well. No, man. You've been showing signs already for a long time that you are less than the person you pretend to be. And again, I'm not the guy that believes in coincidences. And we have too many coincidences going on for me to believe that that was real. The second that you're playing this guy that protects his family, now you're protecting your family. The second, oh, so Chris Rock just came on for this up to this point, then he never comes on, and that's when it happens. The second that you sitting right there in front of it's too clean, it's too neat. That's not the way real life works, man. It's too neat. That thing, and again, I'm not getting into the more specifics of what I'm seeing, like in terms of body language and everything else. That just seems all wrong. Unfortunately, we've seen a lot of altercations in our lives. That's not the way it goes. That's not the way it goes. You don't walk up to a grown man, hit him, turn your back on him, like if he's in a straitjacket or something. That man has two hands, two legs. He can cause damage. You don't walk away like that, right? And he would be within every right, because that at that point it's self-defense. But you don't even have any concern about. I've never seen anyone strike somebody and disregard them. No, you always protect, like, okay, now what's coming back? Because I can control what I do. I can't control what that person does. The only way you could ever feel that confidence is if you know it's fake. Is if you know, okay, you're not going to do anything. This is what it's set up
Or
for.
if you're not about that life. But well, what we can talk about that we know is not contrived is the public reaction. And I just want to talk about, the responses to, it's good to see a black man defend his woman. Alopecia is nothing to be made fun of.
Okay, well, I mean, I don't think anybody's
Chris Rock
saying
had
there's
it coming.
anything to be made fun of necessarily, but I think there's another way that could have been handled. Anybody saying that, again, I would have been all for him if that were real, or even if it's fake. If you want to make a point, just come up and say, hey, listen, do me a favor, please don't ever disrespect my wife again. Please just keep her out your mouth. Even though the other guy's not keeping her out the mouth. No. But and say, listen, she has a medical condition. That's not something to be made fun of. Do me a favor, just don't talk about her. That, perfect. I got nothing to say. But this whole show, which is a show, which is why I don't care about it. It's just the wrong look, but it's Hollywood. What I'm more concerned with, like I said, you just validated every negative stereotype. You just undid every bit of progress that people made. So that's who we are?
Yeah. They were the ones to boycott the Oscars in 2016, right?
That's my problem.
Because there was a lack of representation
and I'm okay
and
with
diversity.
the show.
And then we get in the room and the person that we look up to, the people that we look up to or we have in the past or, dignity and excellence, created this whole minstrel show. It's really upsetting. But I think more importantly, like I said, is the disrespect to their peers.
The disrespect to everything, to society. Like, that's wrong. What you did was wrong. Even if you wanted to see him, listen, you could have seen him in the backstage, man, and handled that. Yeah. If it's real, you didn't have to make yourself look like a, because you don't come out looking good.
Definitely backstage is what, because again, even if you had to take that moment and address it there, it just looks like
being someone.
It wasn't to that level. It wasn't to that caliber. You can't take a joke, and you can't educate somebody when it's not a good joke. And in a more controlled manner. It's just bad.
Being
all
as
the way
calculated
around.
as he is, I find it hard to believe that he would say, if it were real, that he would say, this is the best course of action for me to take right now. This is the way I should do this. Being as calculated as he is, and we know he's extremely calculated, that he would say, this moment demands that I be this way. That was
and
paid,
so to that,
and it was paid for.
The conspiratorial theory is that, they've been speculating for years that they are Scientologists, and this is a sanctioned action in Scientology to use physical reproach or verbal reproach to control the
But
room.
you are in,
So
but you are in
that's
the
the other
United States of
speculation.
America, and there are laws,
Yeah.
and they are accessible to Chris Rock in every way. So if we do not see major lawsuits and arrests happening, further proof.
But we also know that, you know, Scientologists seem to be above the law. They never
I
usually have
mean,
to
there's lawsuits that can
get pulled
happen,
into a
whether or
courtroom.
not they go
But
through or whatever. It can happen. If you don't see anything,
yeah,
further proof.
right. And that fades into mine. Okay, so again, I just want to speak to the public opinion narratives about, way to stand up for your woman. That seems like the response of a hormonal high schooler. And I don't think that we as adults and we as women, I think we should expect more from our men than to be able to display their toxic masculinity to quote unquote defend us, especially in a moment where we saw him laughing at the joke until Jada wasn't laughing
Hmm.
at the joke. So I just think that we need to hold our men up higher. I think that men in general, like if we're trying to set a new stage and create a new narrative about what healthy relationships are between genders, from genders, we shouldn't encourage that men have to go and act like cavemen to defend their women's honor. That's that.
I don't even know what to say to
Um,
that because honestly, people who think that that was okay, there's not much of a discussion to be had there. For me, if you think that's okay in any way, not just because of the male masculinity, toxic masculinity, also, like I said, it's bigger than that. Man, we just got in the room. We just got here. And that's what you do? It's not cool.
yeah,
There's a bigger social
yeah,
responsibility. There's a bigger social responsibility,
yeah,
and he just ignored all of it. And again, I don't
yeah.
believe it was
And
real. I know in my heart, I would bet my life that it was fake as the day is long, and but even it being fake, that's the wrong message to put out there.
so bad. Either way, such bad implications because, again, if you're willing to sell yourself out and the representation to several communities, at the behest of the Oscars, who, again, you just protested not 5 years ago, that you feel like you're not treated fairly there, it would be really crazy that you sold yourself out for
But
them to have their
unfortunately, I feel
moment.
like he might have thought he was playing into the the overwhelming consensus of minority culture, keep it real, whatever you want to say, like I think he might have been like, oh, I'm gonna get a pass on this one, but you're not. Nobody likes it because it was some sucker stuff. You know what I mean? Like man business is done privately, one on one. You don't gotta do it that way, and that wasn't man business. He didn't conduct himself as a man there. That was some sucker stuff. Real or fake, both. But either way,
Either way, yeah.
either way. But
Yeah,
I'm interested to
way
know.
to go
I'm,
down in flames after a really
I'm
great
interested
career.
to know what everybody else thinks. So if people want to put in comments or whatever and say what they think, because
Yes.
I mean I know how I feel. I see you do choose to believe that it was real. I want to know what everybody else thinks. I just don't see. I don't see it. I don't see it.
Yes. Comment, like, and subscribe. And I also just want to take a moment to congratulate what I feel is overshadowed by this moment. Will Packard, great job on producing the
Yeah,
award
and
show
staging
and
that.
creating that lane. The hosts, the lady hosts, they all did a great job. I think that they worked really well together. Congratulations to
And Oscar
Questlove.
of the night
Yay,
or
good
award
job.
of the night goes to Chris Rock.
Coda. Oh,
To Chris
sorry.
Rock, because you're the one who sold it. You're the one who sold that sham. So good for you, bro.
Yes, or because you
Either
handled
way,
yourself
either because you sold it or because you
consummately
were
in the
the
professional
consummate
way.
professional. Either way, you are the real winner, man. Thumbs up.
Yes. And Coda, I do have to see that movie. I'm very excited that again another lane has been opened for another group of what may be considered disenfranchised people or don't get enough representation. So the deaf community. So congratulations to all the
Do
winners.
your thing. Do your.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You got the button.
Oh, it didn't go. I do, but it's not working. Try now. No, you're not getting
Okay.
applause tonight.
Too bad, guys.
But
Just
congratulations.
imagine they were
Yeah,
the best
that would have
applause
been
you
nice.
ever.
But yeah, I think again we shouldn't take this time to allow bad behavior to continue to overshadow moments and bring, set the community back.
Yep.
And your
There's
peers.
nothing cool about
And
that.
if it's not for the community, if you don't care about your audience, if you don't care about, your supporters, what about your peers in the industry that you've stood alongside that come from your neighborhoods and everything? Like, what does anything matter anymore?
Yeah, there was nothing cool about
It's
that,
just all
and I
bad.
hope anybody who thinks that it was cool just reconsider it, think about it, understand the larger implications. This ain't two guys in a grocery store. This is on national TV in front of the world, and the way he acted is completely inappropriate. It is not acceptable. That is not the way you handle business. So don't get the wrong message
Yeah,
from that.
yeah. Yep, I had full disclosure. I checked out from them a while ago since the August Alsina stuff. Maybe we'll create a conversation for that one day because I still think that there's a lot there that they need to be brought to the table. I think, but outside of that, I had canceled them a long time ago. But I will be tuning in. When he gives his exclusive discussion to Jada on her
It
show,
worked. You
and we will
see,
be
it worked. The fakeness worked.
well,
You see.
we will break it down for our friends here, so that everybody doesn't have to tune in.
All
All
right.
right. Well, this was fun. It's been long overdue. Hopefully, we
Yeah.
can get together again soon and get
Yeah.
something else out to you guys.
And
But share with your friends.
if people have any recommendations or something they want us to discuss, let us know. We're here for you.
That would be great. That would be great. Yep, and we'll be sharing it on all platforms. But till now, you can find us at the YouTube site. It was so nice to see everybody tonight. It was so nice to see you, Jay. Thank you for taking the
Likewise.
time to do
Bye.
this on an off night. Have a great evening, everybody. Let's see if we can transition us out of here.